Hey, this is Melissa and Janice with Beautifully Broken Authentically You Ministries, and we are going to do a podcast. Today we're going to try something new and do a video podcast too.
I know. This is really fun.
So we're doing video and we're doing phone. This is weird.
It kind of is, but it's a new thing, and God loves new things.
Well, are you excited about this? Just as excited as just the podcast on the phone?
Yes.
Okay. All right, then it's okay. We can do it then.
Yeah.
All right. So anyway, normally we're always going to see what's on our mind. What's God teaching us today?
Well, he teaches a lot of things all the time. But one of the things that I wanted to ask you was about your pen.
Oh, it's my little fidget pen. I don't know. It's like my security pen. Like we all have security things. I guess.
We do.
But there's probably a sermon in that too.
Yeah.
Because shouldn't Jesus be our only security that we have?
Surely, yes. But I love that you're so connected to this pen because one of my coworkers actually made this pen, and she's so crafty, and you just fell in love with the pen.
Yeah. And thanks, Becca.
Yes, shout out to Bex.
Becca, you better say hi to us in the chat.
But she's so crafty, and like every time she makes new pens, I always bring you one, and you're like, oh, it's my new safety pen, and I'm like, and I told her that, and she's like, oh, that's so cool. But yeah, that is really, yeah. So why do you think it's a safety pen?
I don't know. I just really like fidgeting with it and just playing with it. And now I'm on the air on this thing, and I'm like.
But you're authentic, right? Because there's a lot of people that like.
Well, I'm going to still continue to do it. I'm still going to continue to play with my pen. Okay.
So that kind of brings up the next point of like, what are safe things that we cling to?
Safe things that we cling to. Give an example.
Well, like you cling to this pen because you really like it.
That's true.
You know, so what are some things that normal people like?
Oh, so now you're calling me not normal.
Oh, not on purpose.
You know you just did this on the air, right?
Dang. Well, we know we're a little not normal, but okay, anyway.
We're set apart.
We are set apart.
We weren't made or created to fit in or created to stand out.
Exactly. So I guess perspectively, like what is things that people in general cling to? And why is it important?
Well, I mean, worldly or
spiritual. Right. Like everything can be related back to faith. Everything can be related back to, you know, like, hey, God created us with purpose and a reason, you know?
Yes.
Like he had plans and intentions for us, and, you know, and a lot of people do cling to the wrong things.
Yes. It's true.
You know? And so it made me start thinking like who, what, where, when, how should we cling?
Well, I mean, so a perfect example could be like clinging to scrolling your phone, to social media or whatever. But if you twist it a little bit and you're clinging to it, but you're actually watching all the reels that have to do with like spirituality, faith, whatever. Like if you're watching sermons or if you're
watching
like,
us,
yeah. I mean, you can worldly do things in the world would want you to do, or you could do things a different way, you know? Mm-hmm. So I think it's important, like when we choose what we're clinging to, then we become choose what we're doing with it.
We become more like what we cling to.
Right.
You know, so it's like what we spend most of our time with, what we schedule our schedules around is what we make time for. What we make time for reveals a lot about our character.
That's correct. That
is
very true.
It's like, whoa.
Did you just blow your mind? Because I think you just blew mine.
I know, that's why I said whoa.
Because I'm just like, yeah, I mean, the more I spend time with learning about God and reading my Bible and clinging to that, like the more I'm like my Father, and that's what I want to be like. I want to be more Christ-like, so I want to surround myself with those kinds of things.
Right.
You know.
I definitely agree with that because, like, a lot. I mean, I'm sure everybody knows at this point that we're gonna highly recommend Jesus.
Yes.
You know, like we should be clinging to Jesus.
Yes.
But a lot of people don't know how.
Yeah.
What advice would we be able to give them to do that?
Well, I mean, I think it's awesome. I love to be able to sit down with people individually and talk about, you know, like what's stopping you right now? What's stopping you from doing the things that you know are good, or that you know you're called to do, that you know you're supposed to do? Like, what is stopping you? And for the most part, it's action. People just don't know how to put their head knowledge into action.
Yeah.
So it's going from the head to the heart, right?
Right.
And
Because
people-
it starts as a thought in the head,
Mhm.
and then it has to like seep down into your heart, and then like make its home there, kind of.
Yeah.
You know, but the way that faith works through Jesus is that like he transforms us from the inside out.
Right.
And so a lot of people are always clinging to their old habits or their old life, or
And mostly because it's easier, right? It's
Right.
easy. It's easier to go back to what you know than to
Right.
do something totally different. And we all know that this step of faith is really hard to do. Like, I mean, to give up, like for us when we do like our carpet prayer, when we
Mhm.
like lay everything out on the floor and we just give it all to Jesus and we say, you know what, Jesus, just take this. It's all yours anyway.
show us
It
what to do with it.
overwhelms me. I'm stressed out. I don't know how to manage it. And he's like, okay, well, you don't have to manage. Like, I'm going to make you a good steward.
Right.
Like, listen to me and I will take care of it. And so, but like that first step is so hard to do.
It is,
you know, because
but
it's
after
like,
we did it the first time, it became so much easier because now we just do it all the time.
right.
Because we're just like, you know what? We want God to be at the center of everything we do.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like we don't want to be impulsive, but we also don't want to sit on things that we know that our spirit is calling us to do. You know,
Correct.
we are called to share the gospel. We are called to make disciples. We are called to do and produce gifts that He multiplies. And
Yes.
so when we surrender everything on the carpet, it's like not only are we giving it to Him, but we're giving it to Him, and He's gonna multiply it,
Yes.
and He's also multiplying our peace.
Yes. And he's definitely been faithful and done every single thing that we needed and
Mhm.
asked, and you know, maybe not always in the ways that we think it's
Mhm.
supposed to be, which is very important to talk about.
It is, yes, because we always have our plans or expectations, but I'll be the first to say, like, I used to create backup plans.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and then you'd
Yeah.
be like, I don't think you should do that. You're trying to be God. And I'm like, I didn't even know that. You know, like that was hard for me to.
I think that's really important about perspectives too, is that,
Right.
you know, like we might have one perspective, but if we go and talk to somebody else, or
Mhm.
or God reveals something to us through his scripture, or sometimes he like has a still small voice that talks to us, you know, and I just think that it's just incredible to know that there are different perspectives and it's not
Right.
just one thing.
And
You know-
it matters who you hang out with.
Yes.
You know, because if you hang around worldly and spiritual people, you're going to be more tempted to go to one side than the other.
Yes.
You know, because, you know, those things can drag you away from what your calling is.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and that's very.
That's exactly what Satan wants you to do,
Mhm.
is to draw you away, and he's going to do whatever he can to
Mhm.
make that happen.
Yeah, he's gonna distract you. He's gonna maybe even distract you with things that you love to do, or things you want to do, or things that like are just random.
Yeah.
You know,
Mm-hmm.
he's gonna be like, I think I'm gonna throw something in your way.
Yeah.
See what you do with it.
Yeah. And so that's when we just throw it back down on the carpet and we're
Yep.
like, God, this is what I think I'm supposed to do. Is this correct? And he's like, no, that was not from me.
But the way you responded, daughter, was good.
Yes.
Yes.
Because you know, it's also really incredible to think like God doesn't care all the time about how we feel or
Mhm.
how comfortable we are. He doesn't care about our comfort. He mostly cares about our obedience.
Our obedience that leads to, you know, surrender,
Yeah.
basically. You
Mhm.
know, because when it's not that he wants to be a stern father, it's
Yeah.
the point of like he loves us so much that he wants us to have a relationship with him, and in order to have a relationship he also has to be like a parent.
Yeah.
A parent is supposed to guide and teach their children, and sometimes it's gentle and sometimes it's tough,
Yeah.
but
I mean, there's,
uncomfortable is how you learn that, hey, that wasn't right.
that's how you grow.
Yeah.
You have to grow through what you go through, right?
Whoa, I love that. Even though I've heard it before, but I love it.
Well, that's good. Yeah, I mean, I'm thinking, I just keep going back to our carpet prayer and God just starting a new thing, and just He's doing a new thing in this ministry, even.
He
like,
is, and he's provided literally everything we need to go out and do whatever we're doing.
because it's in His will if we're glorifying Him. You know, like that's what
Mhm.
we're called to do, is glorify Him
Right.
for the good of us, but for His glory, right?
Right.
Like,
So he literally takes everything and he multiplies it
Yeah.
in ways that we don't even comprehend, because half the time I don't even know how we do what we do.
right.
It's like daily provision, but daily manna, and like just it's incredible to see.
Yeah. I mean, I know that we've talked about this several times, but like, I literally couldn't sit down on this couch and write a list of all the things, all of the blessings that happened in one day, because I'd be sitting here for 4 days just trying to do one day's worth of blessings. It just,
Yeah.
it's not, it doesn't work.
I mean that, yeah, and I'm like a writer, right? And I want to journal all the time, but I can't too much anymore. I have to bullet point my daily blessing list, because literally 20 things will happen and I want to talk about all of them, and by the time then I get like a week behind on journaling, and I'm like, no, we can't do this. Like, it's taking my energy, my time. I can't do it.
Yeah, so you have to like choose where your energy goes, right?
We have to choose where effort and energy and our time is spent.
Yeah, because I don't know. I think the key is like now recently I'm just like, if I'm too exhausted, that's probably not what I'm supposed to be doing, because God
Right.
does not want us to be exhausted.
Right.
He wants to give us peace. He wants
Right.
to like give us. He wants to calm us. You know, like
Yeah.
And when you have all these other things, like you just have to recognize that's not from God. He's not
Right.
going to give you something that's going to stress you out or going to make you feel like you're overwhelmed, and sometimes I'm like, I'm so overwhelmed today. Okay, all right, God, tell me what I need to get rid of.
Right. It's kind of like we almost have to ask the question to ourselves, like, hey, what do we need to let go of? Or is there something we're supposed to be clinging to instead?
Right.
And most of the time, for me anyway, it's, yeah, you gotta let go of yourself and your issues and your feelings and emotions and all that stuff, and then focus on me, daughter.
Yes.
And then I'm like, okay, word, I got you.
Yes, because we know where the Spirit of the Lord is, there's freedom.
Yes.
And peace. And just a whole bunch of other good things,
Yes.
But I don't know. I thought this video thing was pretty cool.
I think so too, especially because we got the little clicker now that actually like
Works.
works.
Well, I think it's awesome. I love the podcast too.
Yeah.
But we just want to reach everybody. Like, this ministry is so amazing.
It is.
I love that God is standing us out.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So, comment on the video. Listen to us on Spotify, but it's going to be the same thing.
Yeah, pretty much.
So, thank you for listening and watching. If I know how to shut this off.
People like authentic.
Good thing.
It's cool.
It didn't record.
Oh gosh. That's funny. Tune in next time.
Wait, you are still recording?